Thanks for checking us out, everybody. Tobin here with you. Please hit the subscribe button, and let's get into it, man. If you guys also like the Tobin and Leroy radio show, we're now streaming live on YouTube every single weekday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lots of silly sauce coming your way. As the Miami Dolphins are now in the thick of the offseason. I feel like 4 days after is the thick. That's exactly where you get into all the business that's going on. You know, I think a couple of things that stood out over the last couple of days. One, still no changes on the defensive side. That has remained pretty quiet as of right now. Darrell Bevell, the Dolphins quarterback coach, doing a lot of work with Tua, has been working with QBs for a very long time. He did not take any of these interviews that he was up for. I think he was up for Jets and Washington. Listen, I can't blame anybody for turning down those jobs. I mean, who the hell are you working with, right? Like, if you're, in all honesty, if you're Darrell Bevell and you're thinking to yourself, all right, I'm working my way back up, trying to get back into the offensive coordinator game, maybe one day the head coaching game again, without it just being a little stinty stint. Do I want to go to the Jets and Commanders with quarterbacks? Or do I stay in Miami? We continue lighting things up, and then somebody really good wants to hire me. So good that he's getting interviews, don't get me wrong, but I can understand why if you're Darrell Bevell, you're like, Jesus, the Jets and the Commanders. Who else you want to add onto that? Russell Wilson? Like who else wants to be put on this list? So seems like he's sticking around. That's good news. And sticking around is going to be an interesting one because Mike Gesicki, I think there's two longtime Dolphin questions that people want to know the answers to. One of them has to do with Mike Gesicki. Is he gone? I think we all can base it on the temperature of how he is posting, behaving, with a lot of reminiscing on his Dolphins career. It feels very much like Mike Gesicki is saying goodbye. Like, it just does. He says that he wants to stay. I believe him. I believe that he would like, in an ideal situation, for him to stay, but for him to also get the opportunities he thinks that he could use to help this team. And I just don't know if that's going to be here. I don't know. You lock yourself into a marriage there that just seems shaky from the start, and also was oddly quiet when you had your starting quarterback in there. He seemed almost to be more of a safety blanket when the other QBs are in there. His best game was with Teddy Bridgewater, scoring touchdowns with Skylar Thompson. Oddly enough, his quietest game was with Tua, who seemed to really dig throwing to the two fastest guys on the field. Call him crazy. But he posted on Instagram or on Twitter. He may have posted on the gram too. I haven't checked. But I imagine that's how the kids do it these days. He tweeted and put a letter. This is a lot of writing from Mike Gesicki. It's like the Gesicki novel. Says, didn't even know I was making memories, just having fun. No telling what the future holds. Just control what you can control. Everyone that knows me know I would stay in South Florida forever. Time will tell. No matter what, no matter where, the show goes on with that zip face emoji thing he does, which is, I imagine, just be quiet and run. But then he gives this whole spiel about, remember he's moving down to Miami when he's 21 and Paige, and, got his friend Durham Smythe. And then he basically kind of wraps it up by saying, I'll forever remember the adversity of not playing a major role my rookie year and the following year catching a game winner in Foxborough. I will forever cherish playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick because he changed my career and my life by just giving me opportunities on Sunday and giving me the best advice I've received regarding the game of football. Just stop thinking so much and just effing run. I hope you all enjoyed my obnoxious ball spins and first down, my ridiculous celebrations after a big play, and of course my hilarious gritty that the league has seen. The most hilarious gritty the league has seen. Not sure what the next step has in store. I'm not positive where it will be, but if my time in Miami has come to an end, I will forever cherish every moment and be grateful for the highs and lows, no matter what, no matter where the show goes on. And He fins the F up. That was his sign off, Mike Gesicki. And then once again, P.S. Just keep going. He just wants you to keep going, people. This is such an interesting thing because it really feels so many times in pro sports, it always feels like the breakup comes with some animosity. You know, it feels like either the fans are mad you left or you're disgruntled that they're moving on from you. And I don't really feel this on any side. I think most Dolphins fans accept the fact that Mike Gesicki is going to be on another team next year. You hope like hell it's not somebody that you face twice a year. And that most people, I think, are okay with it because they trust the yardage and they trust the production of this offense. Now, it's not easy to just go find, X pass catching tight end. You can't just expect Hunter Long's going to step into that role or Tanner Connor's going to step into that role or just anybody's going to step into that role and do their thing and be the mismatch that he is offensively. But you also, I think if you're a coaching staff, thinks like, I just don't think it's a perfect fit. And sometimes things just aren't a fit. So it's one of these odd things where he's a very, very popular player on the Dolphins. I don't know many Dolphins fans that don't like Mike Gesicki. If you don't like Mike Gesicki, I feel like you're kind of a weirdo. Like it's just a strange thing. He's never done any. In fact, everybody always complains about guys, holding out for contracts and making a stink, and he didn't. He has not made a stink at all. Any opportunity that he has talked about, he has been all about the team. He took his franchise tag and earned his free agency. And I just think a lot of fans respect that from him, that, that there's just like, there's not this whole dog and pony show of, now look, I get the players that do it. Don't get me wrong. Like we see what happened between Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Lamar Jackson doesn't make a stink. He doesn't get a contract. Kyler Murray, cleans his Instagram clean, wipes his Instagram clean of Cardinal stuff. He gets a contract extension. Xavier Howard, he proclaims he's done with the Dolphins publicly. He holds out multiple times. He keeps getting new contracts. Mike Gesicki doesn't. So I think you could say that the more productive way is to make a stink, but I do think that it buys you something with the fans. And I think we saw this with X's struggles this year, is the fans were fast to be rats off a ship on him, even though he's very clearly dealing with an injury, because it's like, well, dude, you always kind of like felt like you were holding the franchise hostage. And I get it. This is a cutthroat NFL, and they will cut your ass willy-nilly and not tell you. So I get why X has to do what he has to do, but I think from the fans' perspective, if you do stink up the joint after, holding out for multiple contracts, then people are going to be more rats off a ship with you. Whereas Gesicki, okay, he really didn't have the production this year, but I felt like the entire season, everybody kind of understood why this just wasn't, that this was more of a football fit than a Mike Gesicki's falling off a cliff. And I think that when he did catch his touchdowns this year or do his awful gritty, everybody was just happy. They were happy to see Mike Gesicki produce and do big things. So, look, maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel, and he sees that the other places don't have better opportunity, and he does come back to South Florida because it means something to him. Maybe he means something to Chris Greer because he drafted him. I don't know. This was Chris Greer on Mike Gesicki and his future with the team.
No, I think Mike did a good job this year. I think we had a great individual conversations with him probably a couple hours ago. So I told Mike I was proud of him. He did a nice job. Made some plays yesterday for us, got us back in the game. So he worked through it all this year. We'll see what the future holds. He's earned the right to be a free agent, but we're happy for him, and he did a nice job, and I know his teammates are happy for him, as you saw when he scored the touchdown yesterday.
There you go. Everybody seems okay in the position right now. It seems like they're in a spot where they're fine with Mike Gesicki if he goes on, and hopefully it's not like the Patriots or something. That would be terrible, or like the Jets. That would stink. But we see it. We see guys wanting to get that revenge on the old divisional team. Obviously, it's not going to be with the Bills because he loves how Dawson Knox was getting used this year, and Dawson Knox did catch a lot of touchdowns this year. But for Mike Gesicki, look, that is cool that he that I feel like the Dolphin touched him in a way and showed their appreciation, and that is cool that a player does acknowledge that from the fan base, either on the way out or even if it's not the way out. It's a cool thing if by some surprise he does come back. It is a cool thing that he at least acknowledged, hey, this place meant something to me. Like this wasn't, and I think that, look, we have seen the Dolphins' passion really shine through this season, for the most part. Not the ingrate rat bastards, but I think it's cool that he at least acknowledges that. And so I don't think he's going to come back. I think very much like he's probably going to move on to something else. I think that from whatever comments he does make, he said that what's the most important thing to him? Opportunity. That would show me that he was not thrilled with his opportunity. Didn't make a stink about it, but let it be known on the way out. Like, I felt like I could have done a lot more and wants to do a lot more. And we'll see. I think that he'll probably get that opportunity somewhere.